No Canada, so we're right off underway for a Saturday night matchup. My name is Dayton Camo saying welcome et bienvenue inside the Greenfoot Energy Center here in Moncton, New Brunswick. It's the third of 4 games across the league today. It all started with the Western Rebels taking down the Kings Hockey Club 3-2 in Sackville. And we'll send it down quickly to the PA announcer for the anthem before puck drop. Just about set for puck drop here from Moncton. We'll get your starting goaltenders between the pipes for the V's tonight. At one end of the ice, it's number 31, Max Reed. And down 200 feet from him for the Thunderbirds, it'll be Blake Gallant. We'll head back to center ice and get set for opening puck drop. And we thank you for tuning into High Button Sports on this Saturday night. Wherever you are across the Maritimes, it should be a good one. And we are underway. The V's control off the face-off. It's Kaharski. He's going to take this one behind his own net. That's played out to center. Quickly picked up by Parsons and moved forward. But played ahead. The chance in all alone. They score! .26 seconds into this one. Maxim Lermuth on the breakaway, makes no mistake, and the Thunderbirds are up early. Off the draw, the Thunderbirds will play this one into the offensive zone. Cal Hillier there to play this one up the wall for the V's. Darcy Avari will send this one into the offensive zone. But it's picked up by the captain, Mason Swanveld, sent to the net, and that one's just wide. Reed will cover up for the face-off on the near side. So just shortly into this one, not even a minute in, we're getting some offensive chances either end of the ice, but the Thunderbirds with the plethora of them. Avari gets that puck up the wall to DeMille, and the V's will work it offside, giving the Thunderbirds time to break out from his own end. It's worked up the wall by Price. Kept in by Martin Carroll. Quickly worked to the wall by Morrison. He's going to try and break into the offensive zone. He's able to gain some ground, but DeMille poked that one wide. Morrison took a bump. He's down. And that one's going to be blown dead. Morrison down in the offensive zone. We'll head back to center ice and we'll take a break. And we'll be right back here on iButton Sports. So Morrison back to his feet. Looks like he will stay on the bench for now. He'll head down the tunnel and we'll see if he makes his way back onto the V's bench. This one's sent into the Thunderbird zone. Gallant knocks one into the corner. A sharp angle shot turned aside off the paddle. And this one's worked up the wall. Into center. Mazzarella calling for it. He goes far side. Tedio walking in. That shot off the pad of Max Reed. And out to the slot. Tedio couldn't pick that one up. It's moved ahead by Ross. In the corner, Declan Steves. A solid defenseman for the Thunderbirds. Played that one into neutral ice. It was interfered with, but Braden Cowan, he'll get the head contact penalty. And that'll take us down to the V zone for Thunderbirds power play. This one's poked back to the line and kept in by Mazzarol. Lays it back to Elliot Blais. Down low to Mazzarol on the half wall. He walks in, shoots. That one's just wide, rims around the wall. Kept in at the line. And Blais will start up from the line. That's sent on to Reed. He'll hold on with the glove. And we'll get another face-off. This one going to come to the glove side of Max Reed. 17:33 left to go. It's a double minor up there to Braden Cowan, so lots of time to work things around here for the Thunderbirds. Shot from Tedio goes just wide of the net on the near side. It's played back to the point. Blais has this one escape the zone on him. Or the Thunderbirds quick to reset. A pass back from Mazzarol. He hits Tedio and gets the return feed. Alexandre Mazzarol walking up that far side in through center. Back at the top of the zone for Blais. He sends one down low. Slap shot comes in off the blocker, and that one just wide of the net. Tedio unloaded on the near side. He played one up the wall. Tried to go back to Mazzarol, but took a weird hop off the dasher board, and this one's sent down the ice. Blais from his own end goes to the far side. And Mazzarol will saucer one over to Kobe Tedio. And now Mazzarol working in. Kyron Lance up there at the blue line as well. He's sent to the ice, but this one going to go back door. Just intercepted at the last second by Jaden Hall. Now DeMille sends one to the line. Kept in. Zwanveld. Back across to Tedio. He winds fired. That stick breaks. And he's got to get a new piece of lumber. Now back onto the half wall. Zwanveld had that one go behind him. And this one's all the way back down to Gallant. And he'll play this one up for Price. Stopping up behind his own net. 2 minutes to go on the man advantage. So the V's killing off the first half. as Alexis Fortin works in behind the net. Back to the point, Joinville to Price. He unloads, and that one's into the glove of Max Reed. And he'll hold on with 15:39 to go in the opening frame. Off the draw, Reed able to cover up quickly. Just a couple of seconds ticking off the clock. Fortin, Martin Carroll out there with Zwanveld, Price, and Nicholson. Zwanveld at the point will go back to Price. Down low, Fortin unloads. And that one is up off a stick into the netting. Face out for the glove side of Max Reed. It's one of the half wall sent down the ice by the V's. Gallant out to play it. Setting it up for Price. He'll walk out from behind his own net. Cross ice pass. It's into the feet of Nicholson. He's got to make a move. He's got Ivari right there on him. And back to get it with a minute 10 left to go on the man advantage. Just the skipper, Mason Zwanveld. He leaves it there for Price. Out through center. That's onto the stick of Fortin. He just mishandled that one. And now they walk in offside. So a new 5 will hop out for the Thunderbirds. They're rolling 3 different quintuplets out here on this long man advantage. Peters has that one roll off his stick. Morris giving chase on the far side. Learmouth has to go back and get this one. He plays it up the wall to Peters, but once again flips under his stick. And now DeMille takes a bump at the line from Learmouth. He's sent down, and the Thunderbirds bench giving applause to that one. Off the skate of Learmouth, he works up through center. He's got speed, working down the near side. Turns and waits for some help. That's back to Steves. Peters, back to Steves. He'll walk in, send a shot through. It's tipped, and the rebound is cleared away. Peters will corral for the Thunderbirds. Back out to center. That one's bobbled by Steves off the blade. And back to Peters. Osmond and DeMille working in, counter to the box. And Hall picks it up, sends one through. That's off the blocker of Gallant. And Chamberlain will send one down into the offensive zone. That's going to be called an icing. And the Thunderbirds that thought they were going to get a change will have to head back onto the ice due to that icing call. Face off to the blocker side of Gallant. Osmond let that one go for Kaharski. That was almost stripped by Chamberlain. Down low, Gallant behind the net, sets up. Had Peters there, but elected to rim that one around the wall. Maybe the better idea is it escapes his own and gets past center. But just momentarily as the V is giving good pressure. It's back for Steves. He goes cross ice for Peters. Wholesale change coming for the Thunderbirds as that one's dumped down. Kyron Lance giving chase. The 7-8-9 line out here for the Thunderbirds. Tedio, Mezzadol, and Lance. Osmond walks around the top of the zone, makes a move, makes another. Tried to make one too many, and it's picked up by Mazzarol, sent ahead for Tedio and into the stands. The faceoff will come back inside the V zone. $12:25 to go here in the opening frame. Saulnier will face off against Maxim Learmouth, and he wins that one back. Up the wall, kept it at the line by O'Shea, sent towards the far side corner. Kaz Hillier there to grab this one. Sends it out through center, picked up by Snow. He tries to make a move around O'Shea. This one's picked up by Saulnier, sent back for Hall. He goes up the wall, and this one's back to center. Learmouth corrals and sends it up the wall. Out of the reach, but no ice. Snow trying to get it outside the zone. He takes a couple of bumps, and this one's worked offside by Saulnier on the way into the offensive zone. So a face-off coming right back outside the Thunderbird zone in front of their bench. 11:43 to go here in the first frame. Morris facing off against Fortin, but that one's one back by Fortin into the V zone, but Morris in the corner had that one to go off his body, almost intercepted. Now Kaharski sends this one into the offensive zone. V's trying to set up down low. It's Morris. He takes a bump from Zwanveld. Now a cross-ice pass intended for Martin Carroll. Out of his reach, and Fortin lays a bump on the near side to Muse. Zwanveld with a long shot. That one's turned aside by the blocker, Max Reed. And he'll keep on going around the end wall. It's picked up by Fortin down low. He goes back around to Martin Carroll. He tries to wrap that one quickly, but Reed there with the pad. McDonald calling for it. The chip a little too hard, and that one will be called an icing. We'll head back down to the V zone to the blocker side of Max Reed. Chamberlain and DeMille on the draw. DeMille wins that one ahead. Muse giving chase. Steves is able to play this one up the near side. It's worked in back by Chamberlain. Dropped and sent ahead by O'Connor. And back at center, Steves plays it right back ahead. Chamberlain tried to feed O'Connor as he was swinging in, but that one sent down the ice. Looks going to be like an icing call. And an icing call it will be. Back down to the V zone we go. 10:08 to go. Face off to the glove side of Max Reed. Carew, the captain, sends one around the end wall. Darcy Ovari trying to get possession of it down low in the offensive zone, but he's worked off the puck. It's Steves who goes up the near side wall. This one escapes the zone. DeMille goes back for Carew. Peters up that far side. That one's chipped into center ice. Chamberlain up the far side. That one's swept further into the offensive zone, but picked up by Kaharski down low. And McNaughton pushes it forward. Chamberlain on the chase. He's unable to get this one out of the defensive zone. A shot turned aside as Chamberlain took a bump there. And a face-off will come back down in the V zone to the blocker side of Max Reed. Braden Count and Nazarol were working on the draw. Nazarol will be worked out. And this one is played ahead. Osmond racing up, he drops for Count. And this one sent cross ice. Kyron Lance will play one into the offensive zone, but quickly taken away and regained by the Thunderbirds. A chance was sent upstairs by Colby Terio. Looked to label that top corner, just went off the back side of the net. As Osmond works away the other way, he's got Count to the back door. Osmond, and that's off a stick up into the netting, and we're going to face off back down in the Thunderbird zone. One of the better chances offensively for the for the V's, excuse me. And obviously, as you all know it, if the V's are going to get something, it's probably going to come off the stick of Kane Osmond, who just coincidentally broke his stick on the bench. So an expensive shift out there for number 18, to say the least. Kyron Lance working into the offensive zone. Mazzarolo goes back across for Zwanveld. He plays that one down into the offensive zone. Up the wall he goes, and that's played out by Carew. Down into the near side corner. Zwanveld lays a bump, but it's played back down low for Ross. Zwanveld trying to work that one free from Ross. Down low, he's got him tied up. And now Hall sends a shot off the glove of Thaner Martin Carroll. He chips that one out. Martin Carroll takes a bump. That was a stinger, and he's feeling that one. He'll stay out there. So the V's will get charged with an icing call. 7:28 left to go here in the first frame. So they'll move this face-off back out to center ice. Face-off is picked up by the V's. Sent back out to center. Knocked into the zone by Price. And after a touch-up, Fortin will get back on the chase. Hillier plays it up the wall and back out to center. Go the V's. A broken stick for Zwanveld. Sends him to the bench. This one's worked into the zone by Blais, but it's quickly worked back out to center by the V's. Count had Muse work in ahead of him, so offside. Held him back out to center. Count to Muse, and that one's centered into the slot. McDonald just couldn't get a shot off. Had a couple of Thunderbirds all over him. Steves up the wall. That one's off the broken stick of Zwanveld, and a chance away now. 2-on-1. Fortin. Thaner Carroll drags. That one's backdoor and off the skate of Max Reed. Off a backhand chip from Thaner Carroll. What a chance for the Thunderbirds early in this one. And a great kick save from number 31. Back behind the V's goal, it's Skoharski. Diavari. Now Avari goes back to the point. Shot from the far side goes just wide of the net and picked up by Nicholson, sent ahead and just out to center ice. So back in their own end to reset go the Thunderbirds. Peters just couldn't corral that pass. And this one's worked back ahead. Hillier had a roll off his stick. He takes a bump down low. And on the far side, Blais will slap this one back into the zone. Down the ice it goes. It's chipped in by Darcy Avari. And back the other way, chipped in by McNaughton. They'll say it's an icing call. So back down to the Thunderbirds zone we go. 4:50 left in this opening frame. The one goal from Maxim Learmonth, the difference now, that one came 26 seconds into the opening frame. And we just saw another great chance on a 2-on-1 from Alexis Fortin. Tanner Martin Carroll, Max Reed with a great pad save, keeping this one at 1-0. Off the draw, Kaharski tried to hit Count up through center. Another chance away, 2-on-1 for the Thunderbirds. Lance played it ahead. But Count almost knocked over. A little friendly fire from DeMille as he walks into the offensive zone. That's Osmond, excuse me. Remember, he's got that new stick. Broke one earlier into this period. And this one's played all the way out to center ice. Hall back in his own end behind his own net. Will set up once again for the V's. Off to Kane Osmond. Up through center. He takes a bump and he stood up like Kyron Lance. And this one is getting loud here tonight. A chance for the Thunderbirds sent on towards Reed. That one might have been an early whistle. But number 18 in blue is definitely going to think twice before working his way up the ice again here tonight after taking that bump from Kyron Lance. Face off to the blocker side of Max Reed. This one's played up the wall, kept in by Zwanvelt momentarily, and it's played back up the near side. Morris trying to work in. That one's played back outside the zone, and Reed has to come out and play this one for Jonah Crew, the captain. Across to Olmsted, trying to find an option. He goes the length of the ice. No icing is the call, but they'll say it meets the criteria. So down to the V zone we'll go. And pass is called on the play, so another face-off will come back down right outside the V zone this time. And this one will be redone as well, so Fortin facing off against Count. That one is won by the V's and worked out through center. Sent in to the offensive zone. The Thunderbirds will play this one around the wall. Hall from the back end. Sent one just wide of the net. It's chipped out to center. And kept in by Hillier. He walks in. Glove save Gallant. That one just pops free. And back out to the V zone. This is chipped all the way down the ice. Hall with Fortin all over him. That one's given away. Blais walks in and That one, or Nicholson, excuse me, walked in all alone, tried to fire one past Reed. That one was blocked. At the line, Steve's able to keep it in, but Cowan with speed working out on the far side, trying to make a move to the back end, cuts in, scores! Braden Cowan, highlight reel goal. Slips one through the 5-hole of Blake Gallant, and we're all tied up here at the Greenfoot Energy Center. So a timeout has been called by the V's. We'll be right back here on High Button. Back goes to center we go, just after the V's get on the board, thanks to Braden Cowan. We'll go back to center ice, and we're underway once again here in this first period. Just over 2 minutes left in the opening frame. This one's worked into the offensive zone by the Thunderbirds. Sent into center. And now Lance working into the slot. Now this one's picked up by Mazzarol. Back door, and what a save by Reed. Not sure if he got a pad down. Looks like he did. Puck coming out from underneath that right pillow. That's 2 pad saves with that right leg this period for Max Reed. Now this one's one off the draw. Played backdoor, and that one's picked up in the slot by Cowan, but taken away momentarily. It's played back to the line. Steves, excuse me, unable to keep that in, but he works back and plays his man off the puck. That was Osmond. Now into the slot. Taken away, and now an odd man rush back the other way, started by the defenseman, Declan Steves. That one's knocked into the far side corner. Steves still on the attack. Now worked back out into neutral ice. Cowan takes that pass and sent back the other way. A one-on-one now. It's Tedio working in. Could make a move there. And it's turned away by Osmond. He works that one over to the far side. And picked up by Osmond. Working in through the backhand. Shot from Cowan. Goes just wide on the glove side. 35 to go here in this opening frame in Moncton. Matthews couldn't get a stick on that one, but it's Lermuth who picks it up. That one's knocked off his stick. And back out to center. A couple of V's run into each other. Avari takes a hit up high from his own player, and he's slow to get back up. That was Lachlan Ross, excuse me. But that'll do it here for the opening frame. Through one here in Moncton. We're tied at 1. It's the V's and the Thunderbirds on High Button Sports. Stay tuned because we're coming right back with the second period right after this thing. We're just about set for the second period inside the Greenfoot Energy Center here between the Dartmouth Voyageurs and the Moncton Thunderbirds. We'll take a look at the schedule across the league today. Like I said earlier, the Western Rebels, thanks to Isaac Goody, picking up a overtime win over the Kings Hockey Club. Right now in Colchester, the Fundy Thunder and Cape Breton Jets are getting underway. And here in Moncton, we've got the Voyageurs and Thunderbirds, and just about half an hour ago, the Valley Wildcats and Martello Buccaneers kicked off as well in the nightcap back at the St. Margaret Center Arena. So we've got all 4 games across the league in action right now. We'll head back down to center ice as we're getting set for the second period. Maxim Learmouth and Braden Cowan with the goals in the opening frame. We'll see who can pick any up in the second. And we're just about underway here from Moncton. Off the draw, Jonah Carew corrals for the V's. Sends one cross ice to Nate Gaharski. And he works it into the offensive zone before getting it back out at center. And then doing the same. This one's worked off the wall, back down for Jonah Carew. He sends one all the way around the end wall. It's picked up by O'Shea. And the Thunderbirds and V's both kind of playing a little game of pitch and catch here early. Nobody really wanting to take control. That one's sent into the Thunderbird zone. Gallant holds on for the draw. 19:22 left to go in the middle frame. This one's sent all the way down the ice, so an icing call charged to the Thunderbirds. Back to the point. Hillier lays one down around the wall, out to the slot. A shot from Saulnier was knuckled on the net. And Gallant able to hold on with the glove for the face-off. So we'll reset for this draw. Back to Gallant's glove side. That one's won and controlled by the V's down low, but it's worked out of the zone by the Thunderbirds and back out to center. Now taken away down low, a chance for Chamberlain. Was turned aside by the pad of Max Reed. To the point he goes for Price. That shot well over the net. And Max Reed able to get the glove on that and hold on for a face-off. The face-off now coming to the glove side of Max Reed. Cowan able to win that one back. It's Kaharski who picks it up. Working up through center. Nate Kaharski drops it off to Braden Cowan, but they're going to say he worked in just ahead of the play, so an offside call. Alexis Fortin, Braden Cowan on the draw once again. And Fortin wins that one cleanly. Peters goes across to Steves, and this one's into the Thunderbird zone. Cowan trying to go from his own end, and Fortin going to be called for the trip there, reaching in. And now Cowan still tying up with Fortin. The V's will work out from their own zone. This one's going to be touched up by Forte, and he'll head off for the trip. So down to the Thunderbird zone we'll go for the V's power play. The V's are going to send out Parsons, Cowan, and McDonald with Osmond and Hall at the points. Off the face-off, it comes all the way back out to center. Kane Osmond will start up from his own end. This one's held up at the line. Hall will try on the near side. Hall working in behind the net. He's pressured by Peters all the way around the zone. Cowan trying to work in and find an open man. He goes back to Kane Osmond. Tried to corral that one on the back end, just couldn't do so. So it's worked out to center. He tried a little toe drag. That one poked off his stick, and Colton McDonald now will try to work this one in. He goes to the far side. Cowan picks it up. Drops it down low, nobody home, and Steves will send this one down the ice. Now right through center, Jonah Carew walking up. Back up to the top of the zone. Saulnier had that one. Tried to walk in, but the shot from the half wall deflected out of play, and we'll get a whistle. Draw one by the V's. Carew drops down to Saulnier on the half wall. Carew keeps it in, walking into the slot. It's poked off his stick and onto the half wall for Saulnier. Down to DeMille. Now back up top for Avari. That shot blocked in the pants of Martin Carroll. Just couldn't find it. And now back out to center. Carew goes cross ice. That one going to be called an icing. And we'll head back down to the V zone with 8 seconds left on the penalty to Alexis Fortin. Off the draw, Carew. Up the line, he'll send this one out to center. Now all the way back down in his own end, Jonah Carew. Long pass out through center, picked up by Morris. He's tied up. Coming up in to help out was DeMille. That one's played around the wall. Lance plays that one down the ice. It's going to be called an icing as Kaharski races back for it. So down the ice we go, back to the Thunderbird zone. Tedio, Mazzaro, Lance with Zwanveld and Price. Face-off won by the V's. Kaharski circles back at the top of the zone, goes cross ice for Hillier. That shot goes in, blockered away, and Gallant able to get back on it, and somehow that stays out a second time. What an effort in the Thunderbirds crease by number 31. Now a chance in all alone for this Thunderbirds top line. Tedio trying to work in. He drops down low for Kyron Lance. Out to the slot. Tedio fires. That's high and wide over the net. Zwanveld played one back down around the wall. Picked up by Kaharski, and they'll send this one out to center. McDonald couldn't really corral it. Now he'll get it back at the top of the zone, spinning, trying to find an option. He'll throw it back in to the slot, and that one's taken away by Terrio, and he lays a bump on the near side. Mason Swanfeld working in. Chips it ahead into the corner. And now back for Olmsted. Up the wall, taken away by Steves momentarily, but Cowan able to race away and get this one into the offensive zone. He rips one, that's onto the stick of Gallant, turned aside, and the rebound back into V's possession as Olmsted's shot goes just wide of the net. Hall pinching in, he'll keep this one in. Hall once again will pick it up, but Ethan Parsons will pick up the interference call. And we will head back down to the V zone. The Thunderbirds will get an opportunity on the man advantage here. 13:44 left to go in the opening, or in this middle frame, excuse me. Third game of the day, folks. Give me a break. Alexandre Mazarol and Darcy Avari on the draw. Avari wins that one back to the wall. It stays in just for a moment. Tedio able to keep it in after stumbling at the line. And now a stretch pass up ahead intended for Lance was taken away, and now they'll start back from their own end. That's play. Up through center, almost taken away by Snow, and Mazarol works back up, gets a return feed. Alexandre Mazarol working up through center. Someone's lost in that guard, that's Kaharski. He's got to make his way off the ice. Now a cross ice pass, Mazarol working in, he'll drag, shoot, that's off the stick or the leg in front. And that's a stinger. And now finally the whistle called after one of the V's players losing the net guard. Kaharski with a pretty clear reach to the throat area earlier in the shift. And with Kaharski going off, it would have put the V's down to 5-on-3. Maybe the referee trying to do them a favor. Now Fortin off the draw to the back door. That one sent wide of the net. Martin Carroll trying to work in. That shot from the point goes wide. Martin Carroll giving chase again, as well as Fortin on the near side. Hall trying to pin it to the wall and kill some seconds off this penalty now. This one goes back from the point. It's kept in by Fortin, and he'll work back out to the offensive zone. DeMille strips him of the puck. Blake DeMille working in, cutting out front. He runs into Gallant. And now the Thunderbirds racing ahead. Martin Carroll chips that one down to Max Reed, and he'll cover up for the face-off. 2:10 left to go on the penalty to Ethan Parsons. Peters. Down low to Learmouth. Up top, Peters. Back down, Learmouth again. Cross ice pass. Out of the reach of Steves, and with 1:40 to go on the man advantage, Steves will start back from behind his own net with Muse all over him. Learmouth works it free. And Steves back from behind his own net. Up the wall. That one's played into the slot. Muse will send it back down the ice. And Steves, once again, 1:09 to go. Just past the 10.5-minute mark in the period. Now Matthews in the offensive zone, picks it up, leaves it for Steves. He'll walk in, send one towards the net. The rebound cleared out of danger by Jaden Hall. Now 40 seconds left on the man advantage. Mezzadol back on the far side. That shot sent towards the net and sent down the ice. On the clearing attempt by the V's, Peters will get on his horse, working out from his own end. Blagos cross ice. Snow almost able to intercept that one. He takes a bump, but the V's will send it back down into the offensive zone. Peters up the wall, out of the reach of Mezzadol, and that's chipped out of play. Another face-off will come, this time right outside the V's zone, right in front of the Thunderbirds bench. Mezzadol and count on the draw. That one's one ahead by Mezzadol. Lance giving chase in the offensive zone. He'll slap this one around the wall. Tedio going to be first to it. Tedio towards the wall. Tipped on by Mezzadol. That one just held out by Reed. And now it looks like we're going to get a call. And Mezzadol looks like he's going to go to the box. And he'll get himself a slashing call. Maybe another from the V's, but it looks like it's going to be 5-on-4. The ref says we'll head down to the Thunderbird zone. So Thunderbirds shorthanded coming up. Face-off coming back down to the Thunderbird zone. Power play for the V's. Oivari. Now on the back door, that one sent just wide. Carew now. Circling up top, drops back for Oivari. That one off his skate. O'Shea able to send this one down the ice. Out to play it comes Reed. Now into the offensive zone. It's sent down the ice. And now a collision right in front of the V's bench. Referee says nothing there. The V's player going down the tunnel. But O'Connor with a chance away, short-handed. He's working in on the backhand. Turned aside. He's got Chamberlain in the slot. Quick one. And that's turned aside by Reed. Now in front. That one's sent to the back door. They score. Ethan Parsons sends a quick shot onto Blake Gallant. It finds the hole, and just like that, the Voyageurs have found themselves up 2-1 midway, or just over midway through this second period. Up through center, Martin Carroll Got a stick on it momentarily, but it's played back into Thunderbird, or into V's possession. Count behind the net. Driving around the outside of the zone. In through center. Picks it up. And now Count sends it back around the wall. Hillier able to drive it further down into the zone. Nicholson tried to play it further up to Fortin. With that one taken away. Sent back up through center. Zwanveld takes that one, drops for Fortin. He walks in. That's just over the net. Nicholson keeps it in on the near side. Hillier takes a bump from Fortin, but it's worked back out into neutral ice. McDonald, backdoor. Parsons dragging. And Hall's shot turned aside off the pad, point blank from Gallant. Parsons plays a bump on his Zwanveld, and that shot turned aside by Gallant. He'll hold on for another face-off, coming back down inside the V zone, or the Thunderbird zone. The V's pressing. A little bit of momentum. Old Lady Mo helping the V's out a little bit right now. And they're up 2-1. Out to center, this is played. Gaharski turns it back the other way, and Steves will meet this puck in the far side corner, sending it all the way around the ice. And that'll be an icing call, charge to the Thunderbirds. So back down to the Thunderbird zone will go. Get a face off to the blocker side of Blake Gallant. 6:27 left to go in the middle frame. The third of 4 games across the league today as the V's work into the slot. Ross had that one point blank. It's turned aside by Gallant. And another face-off right back from where we came from. Morris will face off against Learmouth. And to take it now comes Matthews. He loses that one to Morris. And McNaughton racing away, trying to get into the offensive zone. And this one slapped on by Peters. Quickly gloved by Max Reed. DeMille, Mezzarol on the draw. To the blocker side of Max Reed. Now Arvari comes in to take this one for the V's. Loses that one to Mezzarol, and it's worked down into the slot. Kaharski back out through neutral ice. That one was chopped out a couple of times. DeMille able to work it further ahead. Behind the net, O'Shea moves it down the ice. That's going to be an icing call to the Thunderbirds. So back down to the Moncton zone we go. Just over 5.5 left in the second. The latest goal from Ethan Parsons has the V's up 2-1. And they win that draw, controlling in the offensive zone. DeMille plays one down low to Hall, or to Carew, excuse me. And now Arvari plays it back down behind the net. DeMille giving chase. Up the wall, Terrio will chip this one ahead. Couldn't chip it further than it already was, and the V's trying to get something going now in the offensive zone. A penalty call coming against the Thunderbirds. Elliot Blais working his way to the penalty box. To the wrong penalty box. No, work his way into the right penalty box. Two minutes up on the board. And the Thunderbirds will send this one down the ice right off the draw. Carew. To Saulnier. Picked up by Ross, sent down the ice off his stick. So maybe Ross didn't get a touch on that. We'll go all the way back down to the V zone. 1:18 to go on the penalty to Blais and 4:31 left to go in the second period. Jonah Carew behind his own net will start up on the power play, working up through center. Carew has Fortin all over him. This one's played back into center. Oivari back to the captain. Carew. He'll call his team back. Leaving it there for Braden Cowan. He works up back to the bench. Cowan down the ice. Tried to drive into the front of the net. He was taken down. Now Martin Carroll goes around the wall. 25 seconds to go now on the penalty to Blais. And Osmond wanted to pick that one up behind the net and start to fly. He couldn't do so. And he'll gain speed up through neutral ice and grab this one off the drop pass from Hall. Osmond walks in. That one's off the pad of Gallant. And Martin Carroll will send one up to Fortin. That's off his stick and played softly out to center by Osmond. Back for Hall. Up the far side. Braden Cowan walking in. He'll walk, fire. That one's into the glove of Gallant. He lost sight of it and cleared out to center. Nicholson's got a chance away. He's got Osmond walking in, back door. He had Learmouth trying to break free. It's Matthews now. Back to the point and played down into the zone. Learmouth in the near side corner. Played that one around for Nicholson. Back up top, Peters. Sent one back down into the corner. Back up top, Peters winds and fires that one just off the body of Max Reed. Not sure he really saw that one on the way through. But now Osmond walking in. That one fanned on, and the backdoor pass cleared out of danger. And the Thunderbirds going to try and get back on the attack. It's Nicholson working in. That one onside. Learmouth sends a shot off the shoulder of Reed. Now Kaharski to Muse. Nicholson takes a bump, runs into the linesman, and Parsons sends him into the bench once again. Now Peters, the defenseman, racing up the neutral ice. He's taken down at the line. Now Olmstead working in, sends one back door. McDonald unable to get a stick on it. Go back up top. Olmstead shot into the glove of Gallant, and they'll hold on for the face-off. 1:07 left to go in the second period. Face off one and controlled by the V's. Olmsted to Morris. He spins and fires. That one's out of the reach of Muse. He sent that one wide of the net. Now Morris walking. That one's off the helmet of Gallant. Now Mazzarol picks up behind his own net. He'll fire one around the wall. To it first is Tedio. Out to the slot. McNaughton there. He fires one right into the glove of Max Reed. And with 30 seconds on the clock, Reed will hold on for the face-off. Mazzarol and DeMille on the draw. That one's one ahead. Poked out of the zone by the V's. Ross will send one into the offensive zone corner. Snow first to it on the far side. Now DeMille. Tried to send one to the net. Fanned on it. Back out to the slot. Koharski walks, and that's off the blocker of Gallant. And on the far side, it's chipped ahead. Tedio giving chase. He's got 3 seconds. Kobe Tedio, can he beat the buzzer? And that one's off the post. Some extracurriculars to end the second period. But that'll do it through 40 minutes here from Moncton on High Button Sports. You're watching the Nova Scotia U16 AAA Hockey League. Stay tuned because we have the third period coming right up. We're just about set for the third period here at the Greenfoot Energy Center in Moncton. But first, we'll take a look at the scores around the league. Earlier today, the Western Rebels took down the Kings Hockey Club 3-2 in overtime. Right now, the Fundy Thunder hold a 4-0 lead over the Cape Breton Jets at the Colchester Legion Stadium. Right now, we've got a 2-1 lead for the Voyageurs over the Thunderbirds. And it's also a 2-1 lead for the Motello Buccaneers over the Valley Wildcats back at the St. Margaret's Center in Tantallon. So those are the scores right now for you across the U16 AAA Hockey League tonight. And we're just about set for the third period here in Moncton. Scoring opened up in the first period by Maxim Learmouth and Braden Cound tying things up for the V's. And then Ethan Parsons later on in the second period putting the V's ahead 2-1, and that's where we stand right now. Teams will work back to center ice, and we'll get set for the final period of play here on this Saturday night in the Bend. Off the draw, Gallant electing to move this one quickly. This one's over to the half wall. Saulnier couldn't get a stick on it. It's worked back to the point. Carew able to keep this one in. It's high and wide over the net. Koharski back from the point. This one's tipped in the slot. And what a save from Gallant. Point blank. He robs Blake DeMille. Gallant will get some taps from the boys. Zwanveld and Fortin giving him some love on their way to the face-off dot. Cound and Fortin on the draw. Fortin wins it back to Zwanveld. The skipper plays it across the wall. This is chipped up, and Fortin moves it further up ahead into the offensive zone. He'll stop up, look for an option, go cross ice, back to Nicholson, and into the slot. It was off the stick of Fortin. Couldn't really corral that one cleanly, and Zwanveld will send it into the offensive zone. Parsons took a tumble, and Zwanveld said, "How do you do?" Price floats one into the offensive zone. Fortin gets a stick on it, backdoor. Thaner Martin Carroll was working for that one. The referee took a stinger. And this one's played back into the zone right in front. A fortuitous bounce for the Thunderbirds, just unable to make anything come of it. Let's work to the far side for Braden Cound. Snaps one around the end wall. Picked up by Martin Carroll, chipped ahead for Price. And Zwanveld on the far side will start the rush for the Thunderbirds. Zwanveld locks in, sends one towards the net, try to chip one, maybe fool Max Reed. But no doing so on that one. Chamberlain played that one into the offensive zone. Nicholson, little flyby there as Hall works his way up ice. Lance and Hall run into each other as this one's sent into the offensive zone. Hall will pick this one up on the far side. Walks into the slot. That's into the glove of Gallant and covered up for the face-off. Just under 2:13 gone here in this third frame. Morris, Ross, and Snow out there for the V's with Hall and Kaz Hillier on the back end. Hillier gets the shot. That one's high and wide and into the corner off the dump in from Jaden Hall. Morris works his way to the net. Poke checked back into the corner by Blake Gallant. Back at the point, Hall trying to walk the line. He steps in, sends one to the net. Kick saved by Gallant. And now Chamberlain out through center ice. He's got a lane to the net. Why not take it? And that one just turned aside by the pad of Reed. Lance sends his man down to the ice. Picks it up, sends one back door. What a save by Reed. Gets a pad down. O'Shea's shot into the glove of Reed. And both goalies at either ends of the ice making point-blank stops, keeping their teams right where they are. A little switch up on the line here of Mazarol and Koviterio, or Maxim Lermuth out there with them now. Mazarol picks one up, works into the slot, puck's loose. Picked up and just sent wide of the net. Worked back in through the slot. That one's bouncing, picked up by Count and worked forward. McDonald will slap it back into the offensive zone. Blais couldn't get a stick on it as Count works in. Braden Count into the corner. Muse finds Count in the slot. Drops for Olmstead, and that one just sits there. It's cleared by Mazarol. He'll lift one high and wide. Terrio trying to work in. Slides one to the back door, and that one's just wide. Terrio couldn't get a stick on that one. What a chance for the Thunderbirds to tie this game. Count gets a stick on it. That one's worked back up through center. Lermuth maybe interfered with a little bit on the way to that puck, but nevertheless, it's into the V zone. Work to the front of the net, giving chase down low is Chamberlain. Worked back down to the Thunderbird zone. Price, he's first to it. Gonna pick one up behind the net. Set up here for the Birds. Up the wall. Jaden Hall picks one up. Plays one into a pair of legs. It's over to the far side. McNaughton just couldn't work that one free of pressure. Back for Hillier. Up the wall for Saulnier. Driving, V's trying to work in. Oivari sends one into the offensive zone. It's out to the slot. McNaughton on the right side of the red will dump this one in. Reed out to play it. Back up the near side he goes. Hillier there. Chipping this one further down the ice. No ice, says the linesman. So back to get this one is Wanveld. Long stretch pass. That one picked up by DeMille. He's onside. He walks in. Shots blocked. And now Price got a man on the far side. That's McNaughton. He tries to center one back into the zone. It's picked up, and now the return feed tried to find McNaughton, but it gets picked up by Price. The V's trying to work in, though, and get something going off some miscommunication from the Thunderbirds. Count up through center. Parsons knocks it in to the offensive zone, and Gallant back out to the half wall. At the top of the zone. Shot goes in, and that's turned aside by Blake Gallant. 13:53 to go here in the third period. And we're going to face off back to the far side. Around the wall. Nicholson couldn't get a stick on it. It's picked up down low. Kane Osmond working into the backhand. That one slips off the end of his stick. Just couldn't finish on a nice driving effort. Now back up through center. This one's off the stick of Osmond. Back into the corner for Peters. He plays one up the wall. Fortin has to be first to this one. He goes cross ice for Martin Carroll. Walking in, that shot right into the bread basket of Max Reed, and he'll hold on for the faceoff. 13:10 left to go in the third period. Down into the offensive zone. Snow. Plays one back to the point. Hillier fanned on the shot. The second attempt just goes high and wide over the net. Terrio on the far side picks it up. Out to center. Tried to spring Mazaron on a break. Just couldn't get that through the legs of Carew. Now DeMille trying to walk back in. A penalty coming here to the Thunderbirds as DeMille was held up on his way in. And we will get set for V's power play. So Mazzarolo will sit. And the V's start off on the man advantage. It's Ivari. Drops it down to Ross. Back door looking for Saulnier. That one just bobbled over his stick. And now down low for DeMille. Makes a move. Works it back to the side of the net. It's played back to the point for Carew. And he'll walk the top of the zone. Jonah Carew from the point. Sends one high and wide. That's off the glass. And Gallant will hold on at the side of the goal. 12-11 left to go. Face off one, sent back to the point. Orvari sends one towards the goal. Spun on, and the rebound sent wide of the net. Saulnier down low, picks it up, sends it back to Jonah Carew. Goes back for Saulnier. That's in his skates and a chance away now for Price to break out. It's a 3-on-2 shorthanded for the Thunderbirds. They got to be careful. That one's sent into the glove of Reed, bobbled, and now sent back the other way by Lachlan Ross. Ross to Ivari back at the point. Hall now sends one through. That's wide of the net on the back door. That's chipped back over to the near side. And Lerma sends it around the wall. Chance out in the slot. Ivari's shot was blocked on its way to the net. And that one gets cleared all the way back out to the V zone. 30 seconds to go on the man advantage. And Jaden Hall will stop out from his own zone. Zwanveld comes to pressure up at the line. He forces an offside at the Thunderbirds' blue line. So back outside the zone we go. 10:56 left in this final period of play, and the Thunderbirds trying to tie this one up and give us some extra hockey here in Moncton. Jaden Hall. Back to Koharski. And he goes cross ice. Ball working in off the shoulder of Gallant. That's turned aside and back around the top of the zone goes Hall. Drops it for count. Walks in, that's off his stick on its way to the net. And Peters plays it up the wall. Koharski on it. That one off the skates of the referee, picked up by Osmond. He'll work around the zone, drops back, and that one poked away by Chamberlain. He's first on it, but he's taken down low. And now Parsons trying to go back door to count. That one taken away by Steves. And poked ahead for Chamberlain. He's got Terrio working in. That one taken away by Hillier. And now a 3-on-1 for the V's. Hillier, Muse, and count, and they're offside. So a face-off will come back outside the Thunderbird zone. Poked it ahead. Mazzaro has it out front. That one just rolled off his stick. Terio working out Mazzaro in the slot. And again, couldn't corral that one in the slot. It's worked out by the V's. Morris tried to send one cross ice into open ice, but no good. This one sent back around the wall. McDonald on the far side. Met there by Elliott Blais. That one's worked up the wall. Lance in the center for Mazzaro. Working in, toe drag. He's held up by Olmsted. And now back to the point. O'Shea just gets a stick on that, but not enough to keep it in. So this one goes all the way back down. 8:47 left to go here in the final frame. It's down the ice, and that'll be an icing call as O'Shea tried to stretch one. Couldn't find anyone in a white jersey, so it'll go all the way back down to the blocker side of Blake Gallant. Back up top. Hall couldn't keep this one in the zone, so it's back out to center and worked in by Carew. He stops up, drops for Ross. That one's off a skate. Ross driving in. That one didn't make its way to the net, so up, away go the Thunderbirds. O'Shea gets a change. This one's played back up the wall. Price had that one bounce off his skate into the bench, so that'll be a stoppage of play. And the face-off will come right in front of the Thunderbirds bench. And now an icing called to the Thunderbirds. We'll go back down to the blocker side of Blake Gallant once again. Now Fortin sent one up through center. DeMille chips one into the offensive zone. Zwanveld picks one up behind his own net. Chips up for Martin Carroll, but that one turned over. Saulnier working in to the front of the net, and that one taken away. Up to center. Nicholson collects, working out through center. He's going to walk in once again, and now work in offside. So a little bit of miscommunication there from the Thunderbirds will force them offside at the line, and we're down to 7:25 on the clock. On the draw, this one's worked into the V zone. They'll try and work this up the wall, out of the defensive zone. Count with speed, goes up through center. That's poked at by Osman. And they'll work back down into the defensive zone. Dropping for Kaharski, up ahead for Parsons. This one's worked to the near side. Koharski up through center, taken away. McNaughton trying to break away. That one just knocked off his stick. Now Osman back down behind the net. Center around the wall. Count. Tries to spin off a check, sends one to the net. That's off a skate or the side of a goal. and up into the netting with 6:23 to go in the final frame. Hillier sent one towards the net. And picked up by Chamberlain. At the point, it's sent into the V zone. Hillier goes up the wall for McDonald. Back for Blais. He goes cross ice for O'Shea, and will rim this one around the wall. Lance picks it up on the half wall, pokes it ahead. O'Shea out to center. It's picked up by Carew, and he'll send it into the offensive zone off the leg of the linesman. And now a long pass out intended for Lance, taken away, and a interference at center ice, no call. And this one's sent down on a read. He'll hold on for a face-off. A bump was laid to Chamberlain at center ice. Looked to be a little bit of a blind side. But Chamberlain looks to be okay. He makes his way back to the Birds bench. Lermouth, Mazarol, and Terrio out there for the Thunderbirds. This one's lifted high out to center. Mazarol back up through center. He wanted Terrio, but that one's sent into the corner. Jaden Hall behind his own net, chased out front by Alexandre Mazarol. Zonveld kicks it back across. They've got a floater. And that's Terrio trying to work in. He's worked off the puck. And this one's sent out to center. Worked ahead by Morris. Zonveld comes in to pick this one up. Moves it back up the wall. Mazarol runs into traffic. Olmsted goes cross ice. Price trying to pick this up before Ross gets to it. Ross sends a shot on net. It's off the pad of Gallant. And back out to center. That one was flung through the neutral zone. Off a skate. Back door they go. And DeMille just couldn't get enough wood on that to settle it down. He works into the offensive zone, but he's sent to the ice by Zwanfeld. And back out cross ice. Out through center, Lermouth driving in, but Olmsted able to take that one off of his stick. 3:46 to go in the third period. Jonah Carew working out for the V's. Out to center, Blake DeMille. Sends one into the offensive zone. The goal in the second period from Ethan Parsons, still the difference right now in this one. And now Steves. Out to center, that's turned away. Peters. Out for Martin Carroll. He lets that one go down in deep. Peters unable to hold the line on the far side. As Avari works into the offensive zone. Snaps one on to Gallant. Now O'Shea up the wall. Peters quickly into neutral ice. Up for Fortin. Moves it ahead. McNaughton. Up ahead into the offensive zone. Fortin heads to the bench for a change. And now it's up through neutral ice. The V's in onside. Osman drives in, and that shot blocked in front by Blais. O'Shea behind the net As Parsons coming in trying to steal that one. And it's worked in back in deep to the Thunderbirds zone. Played out to the slot. Blais picks it up. Tries to go long out to the slot to McNaughton. He lays a bump on Carew. And now back away. Chamberlain. And that's just called offside at the line. 1:49 to go. And the Birds just can't seem to catch a break. Steves, cross ice, dumps it in. Steves plays it back down deep. Kept in at the line by O'Connor. Back to the point to Declan Steves. He backhands one down the near side wall. Picked up by Koharski. And now O'Connor drops it back down low to the side of the net. It's whacked at and sent wide. And cleared out of the zone and out of play by the V's. The faceoff will come back down into the V zone with 57 seconds to go. A timeout has been called. And we'll see what comes after this 30-second timeout here. We'll be right back on High Button. Back down to the V zone we go. 57 seconds left on the clock. And the Moncton Thunderbirds trying to get back to even. Blake Gallant at the bench. Extra attacker on the ice for Moncton. And it's picked up by Elliot Blais off the draw. Tedio across him. Mazzarol. His shot goes into the slot. It's off a skate and Snow. Able to play this one out to neutral ice. Elliot Blais back from his own end. Will have to get the hardest part started once again for the Thunderbirds, and that's getting offensive zone time maintained and set up in the O zone as Ross works in. He's going to ice it. Lachlan Ross puts the icing on the cake here in this one. It's a 3-1 Thunderbirds lead thanks to the empty netter from number 22. .25 seconds left in this one. Declan Steves able to gain control off the draw. DeMille giving pressure down low. Peters trying to find an option. He floats this one out to center ice. Ross drags, fires. That one's off the blocker of Gallant. And out to center. That'll do it here for Moncton. The Dartmouth Voyageurs pick up the 2 points here for Moncton. So they'll head back happy after this one. Still got a couple more games going on. High Button Sports. Some U18 playoffs. The Valley Wildcats and the Martello Buccaneers from Tantallon. But here from Moncton, we're tuning out. Dayton Camo saying thank you, and we'll see you next time.